guy, he has to make the coffin.
What are you, blasphemous Bill Mackay? Whenever, wherever, or whatsoever the manner of death he die, whether he die by light of day or under a peak-faced moon, in cabin or dance hall, camp or dive, muckluck or patent saloon, on velvet tundra or virgin peak, by glacier drift or draw, in muskeg hollow or canyon's gloom, by avalanche fang or claw, by battle or murder or sudden welt, by pestilence each or lead, I swore on the book that I'd follow and look till I found my tomb was dead. For Bill was a dainty sort of cuss, and his mind was mighty sought on a dinky patch with flowers and grass in a civilized boneyard lot. And where he die or how he die, it didn't matter a dang, so long as he had his grave with frills and a tombstone epigram. So I promised him, and he paid the price in good Chaco coin, which the same I blowed in that very night down in the Tenderloin. Then I painted a 3-foot slab of pine, here lies poor Bill Mackay, and I hung it up on the cabin wall and waited for Bill to die. Well, the years passed away, and at last one day came a squaw with a story strange of a long deserted line of traps way back at the Bighorn Range, of a little hut by the Great Divide with a white man stiff and still, a lion there by his lonesome self, and I figured it must be Bill. So I thought of the contract I'd made with him, and I took down from the shelf that swell black box with a silver plate Bill picked out for himself. And I packed it full of grub and hooch and slung it on the sleigh, harnessed up my team of dogs, and was off at dawn of day. You know what it's like in the Yukon wild when it's 69 below, when the ice worms wiggle their purple heads through the crust of the pale blue snow, when the pine trees crack like rifle shots in the silence of the woods, and the icicles hang down like tusks from under the parka's hood, when the stovepipe smoke breaks sudden off and the sky is weirdly lit, and the careless feel of a bit of steel burns like a red-hot spit, when the mercury's just a frozen ball and the frost fiend stalks to kill. Well, it was just like that day that I set out to look for Bill. Oh, the awful hush that seemed to crush me down on every hand as I blundered blind with a trail to find through that blank and bitter land. Half dazed, half crazed in the Yukon wild with its grim, heartbreaking woes, and the ruthless strife for a grip on life that only a sourdough knows. North by the compass north I pressed, river, peak, and plain. Past like a dream I slept to lose, now I'd wake to dream again. North I north through a land accursed, shunned by the scouring brutes, and all I heard were my own harsh words and the whine of the Malamutes. River, plain, and mighty peak, and who could stand unawed? As their summits blazed, I could stand undazed at the foot of the throne of God. Till at last I came to a cabin squat, built in the side of a hill, and I burst through the door, and there on the floor, frozen to death, lay Bill. Ice, white ice like a winding sheet, sheeting each smoke-grimed wall. Ice on the stovepipe, and ice on the bed, and ice gleaming over all. Sparkling ice on the dead man's chest, and glittering ice in his hair. Ice on his fingers, and ice in his heart, and ice in his glassy stare. Hard as a log, and trussed like a frog, with his arms and legs outspread, I gazed at the coffin I'd brought for him, and I gazed at the gruesome dead. And at last I spoke. Well, Bill liked his joke, but still, God darn his glassy eyes, a man had ought to consider his mates in the way he goes and dies. Have you ever stood in a little hut in the shadow of the pole, with a little coffin 6 by 2 and a grief you can't control? And have you ever sat by a frozen corpse that looks at you with a grin and seems to say, you may try all day, but you'll never jam me in? Well, I thought and I thought. And finally I rose and kicked off the husky dogs that were nosing round about. And I built a roaring fire in the stove, and I started to thaw Bill up. Well, I thawed and I thawed for 13 days, but it didn't seem no good. His arms and legs stuck out like pegs, as if they was made of wood. Till at last I said, no, it ain't no use, he's froze too hard to thaw. He's obstinate and he won't lie straight, so I guess I've got to saw. Well, I sawed off poor Bill's arms and legs, and I laid him snug and straight. In that little coffin he picked himself that dinky silver plate. And I came nigh near to shedding a tear as I nailed him safely down. I stowed him away on my Yukon sleigh, and I headed back to town. Well, I buried him, as the contract said, in a grave narrow and deep, and there's awaiting the great clean-up when the judgment sluice heads sweep. As I smoke my pipe and I meditate in the light of the midnight sun, I sometimes wonder if they was the awful things I've done. And as I sit and the parson speaks, expounding on the law, well, I sometimes think of poor old Bill and how hard he was to saw.
That's amazing.